Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our Toronto Web TV Education Insight program. I'm the program host, Carol Chen. This program is focused on education. That means whoever is interested or have a vision for cherished children or the new generation through different ways, you're welcome to come here and share with your dreams. So today we are very lucky to have our honorable guest, Jan Gilbert, who is the Invest Group financial planner. Welcome, Jan.
Thank you, Carol.
So maybe introduce detail about yourself. What's the background of your present professionalism?
So I'm a financial planner with Investors Group. And part of what I do is I work with Canadians, with families, with individuals on providing them with financial planning needs. Now, financial planning is about much more than investments. And so usually when I meet with my clients, the first step is really educating them on what is a financial plan.
Yeah.
It's not just your portfolio of your investments. It's really about how you manage your finances on a daily basis and for a long time.
Good. You know what, Jan? Very honest to tell you, you are the first one beyond our field, like educators. But I still interested to have an interview with you because I treat your professionals can motivate us to have a well planning for our children. So can you please share with us your objective and your mission statement from your company?
Sure. Investors Group is actually our goal, our mission is really to be the best financial services provider for Canadians for the long term. And it's to do true financial planning for them. So as I mentioned, it's much more than investment planning. There are actually 6 areas of financial planning that are covered inside a well-made plan. And this is for each family. It's personalized for each family's needs. And those areas are taxes, cash management, debt management.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right, a big one, right?
I never heard these terms.
Debt management. So
Debt
it's about
management.
how do you make your monthly budget and still be able to pay your bills and pay your line of credit, credit cards, mortgage, everything.
This is
Car
very
payments. That's right.
Right.
There's a
Hot
way to
topic
manage.
now.
That's right. There's a way to manage debt. Then there's obviously investment planning. There's also risk planning
Oh,
for the things
Risk.
in life that happen that are unexpected. How do we protect ourselves from that?
you mean insurance?
That's right.
Kind of, right?
Yeah, but that requires planning as well. Just having insurance of any kind may not meet our needs. It all depends on each family's situation.
Oh,
So, and then there's also retirement planning, and then for older individuals, estate planning.
oh,
So again, depending on the life stage that each individual or family is in, 1 or 2 areas may be more important.
good. So overall, which plan is appropriate to our new generation for education?
It depends. Again, it
Depends.
depends on the family situation. Obviously, there are a lot of different ways of saving for children's education and giving them a strong foundation. So there, in registered plans, there's the RESP, which is the Registered Education Savings Plan. But there are non-registered strategies as well that
Oh.
can be used. The biggest one that's newly introduced by the government is called the tax-free savings account.
Yeah, I heard that
Now,
last year.
it's a lot more. It came out in January of 2009.
Yeah.
It's a lot more than a savings account. It's actually an investment account.
Oh, yeah.
And it has very few restrictions on it in terms of withdrawing the money out, unlike a registered plan.
I heard that even inclusive, you always say inclusive, that means some plan is a specific supporting the disability person or kind of special with needs person. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it can, again, that's the part of,
Is there a special term for that plan?
for the tax-free savings account?
No, no. I mean for the kind of RESP, is it any other plan is it supporting for the special need?
Not really. I mean, RESPs are designed again for it's a very strong emphasis and focus just on further education, and it's very specifically, the guidelines are very specific that the child has to be in a post-secondary institution, whether it's a college or a university, and if they are not, for instance, or a vocational institute, but if they're, for instance, the child decides that they want to start their own business after high school, well, those investment proceeds from the RESP cannot be used to fund the startup capital for this young adult's business. So there are a few restrictions on how you can use the money inside an RESP. And that's why, again, depending on family needs, some other plans might be better suited. And tax-free savings account, for instance, doesn't have any restrictions on how you use the money. You can the parents can use the money, the child can use the money, really for any need.
Okay, so you're very familiar with those planning. How old, I mean, of your company when we started?
We've actually been around in Canada for over 80 years. We
80 years?
Yes,
Ooh.
we're a Canadian company, wholly owned. We've been in existence since 1926, and we have 100 offices across Canada in all the major cities as well as in the smaller towns.
So what's the, I mean, your mission statement? Just
It's to provide true financial planning.
Yeah.
And it's to help educate people on the fact that having a plan that you work with a planner on a long-term basis, what that means is as your needs change in life, so let's say if it's a young adult who's just starting out, then they get married, then they buy a house, and then they have a family. So their needs are going to evolve over time.
Yeah.
Right? So having a plan in place, what that means is you put the plan in place, and then as the needs change, the plan changes with you.
Yeah.
But it gives a sense of control and security in knowing that you have actually planned for the things that are about to happen.
You just shared with us the 6 types of plannings.
Yes.
So I think as a professional, you have a focus on 1, 2 types, right? What is your...
All 6 of them.
Oh, 6 of them.
That's right.
You look so young. So what's the... You know, I just wonder why you picked this field as your professionals.
Actually, financial planning and helping people is kind of my passion. So, you know, being in finance for the last 15 years, what I realized was that helping individuals and families, to me, that was very satisfying. And because I love finance, so bringing the two together, for me, is the best of both worlds.
So when we build up your career goal as a financial planner, when was it?
When was my career goal?
I mean, build up, like make your decision to be a financial planner.
Oh, a few years ago.
Just a few years
Yes.
old. Not
Before that, I was helping more on the corporation side. So I was helping a lot of major companies do the same kind of financial planning that now I do for families.
Yeah. I noticed that career is a very popular subject from the university, right?
That's right.
For you have been this field how many years?
15 years.
15 years? You look so young. 15 years?
Thank you.
Okay, for your feeling, do you think mostly we kind of public education, right? Especially for the new parents, do you think they are well educated for kind of pick the financial planning, or nobody care about that? You know, they don't need any planning, or what do you feel?
I think there's a couple of challenges that new parents face. One, for instance, is just lack of time.
Yeah.
When they're juggling work, lack of sleep. I think the rule is that, you know, parents don't sleep until the child goes to university, and then after they go to university, the parents don't sleep again, waiting up for them. So really having so many different priorities, being able to have the time to educate themselves on what strategy to use is a big challenge. So that's why it's very important to work with a financial planner, because part of what I do, this is my focus every day, is to keep track of the changes that happen. So for instance, in RESPs, there were a few rules that were changed, limits that were changed in the last few years. Now, keeping on top of that. So, for instance, the lifetime contribution limit used to be $42,000 maximum how much parents can contribute into an RESP for their children. Now that limit has been raised to $50,000 lifetime contribution.
That's good.
So again, I mean, keeping on top of changes in not just the regulations that are going on, but also the tax rules and investment strategies, all of that takes a lot of time. So it's good to work with a professional.
When was the RESP start from, supported by the government? When was it started?
Oh, it was started decades ago.
At least 20 years ago.
That's right.
Least, right?
But it really took off as governments basically started downloading more costs onto families. See, before, first of all, tuition wasn't that big of an amount. Even 15 years ago, it wasn't that huge. So, and there were still OSAP grants that were available. Now, the grants were taken away, and now there's only OSAP loans. Criteria for getting approved for OSAP loan is very tight. It's very strict. So what has happened is government used to subsidize more of the education cost.
Good.
But now, and then they provided the OSAP program. Now some of the OSAP program has been reduced or kind of made more, much tighter, and the cost has been passed down to the families. So the need for planning financially for your own children's education has become much greater. So that's why RESPs have really taken off as the one strategy that people know about from the media for saving for their children's education. They don't hear about some of the other strategies as much because, again, depending on the family's needs, it may or may not make sense.
Okay, by your professional point of view, is it most or all of the parents use up the kind of the offering from the government, the $400, right, per month?
It's very difficult. I mean, when you look at the fact that people are just trying to pay their monthly bills, and then whatever is left over, they still have to save for their own retirement, and then they have to save for their children's education. And that in an environment where, there might be job uncertainty, there could be unemployment, there could be illness, all of those things. And then, of course, the cost of living, cost of housing, just being able to pay the mortgage. So there's so many challenges financially that for parents to reach that $400 grant, get that $400 grant, actually it's now $500.
Oh, now $500.
Yeah. So if you contribute $2,500 into the child's RESP, the government will give you 20% of that in a grant, which is $500 a year.
So do you think is everybody will use up this plan?
That's the goal.
This goal.
But again, this is why it's important to make sure that you're doing the RESP planning within a bigger financial plan to help you get there.
Yeah.
Be able to maximize it.
Like for attract all the, especially new parents for using your plan, your company.
The strategy, or what I would suggest, is really for families to contact Investors Group. And I can provide that information later on in the program, but essentially work with a financial planner, a good financial planner who's going to help you not just plan for your children's education, but also for your own retirement, help you pay down debt, help you pay down your mortgage faster, and basically be able to realize your goals in a much better way than kind of, you put money away and you kind of hope that it'll be there when you need it.
For my common sense, like kind of long-term goal for achieving each family sounds like if the best way is each family should keep one financial plan.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I personally I have using one.
Yeah.
After that I think I use her over 20 years.
That's right. That's the goal. Is for it to be long-term relationship, and you use one planner who helps you with all of your financial needs and understands the family situation, and as it changes can change and suggest good strategies to help the family.
Yeah. I think it's a overall everyone feel more comfortable
That's
to
right.
face the challenge every day.
Absolutely.
Right? So as you're in the field, how to motivate a new generation to enjoy your field? I mean,
To join my field?
Join your
Give me a
field.
call.
Okay, do you go to any school or university or any program for sharing your professionalism?
Yeah, we do provide. Actually, there's a few ways that we do have a presence in the Ontario, at least I know for Ontario school system. And for one, we're actually a sponsor of the Money and Youth program.
Oh, good.
And this program is actually part of the curriculum in Ontario schools. And the goal is to teach kids about the value of money and basic budgeting skills.
Yeah.
So that becomes part of something that they learn in school, in high school, that they can then build as the foundation for, you know, when they have part-time summer jobs, part-time jobs, and then into university.
I think even the grade A, young generation, they have to aware of how to do budgeting.
Oh yes,
Right?
for
Even
sure.
Grade A, 14 years old.
That's right, and
Yes.
that's what this. We've actually been a sponsor of this program for over 10 years now
Very good.
through Investors
Very
Group.
meaningful, right?
Yeah.
So what's the long-term and short-term goal? You have so many planning. Like you have one for the education, one for approaching the new parents.
That's right.
So what's the long-term, short-term goal now?
It depends on the family's needs. Obviously, the short-term goals are to be able to manage their cash flow and their debts so that it frees up the cash that is coming in from income or business to use towards the right strategies for their future, the family's future,
Yeah.
to protect the family. And I can't emphasize this enough because so many times we focus on saving and investing, but we lose sight of the fact that there's always risks to our lives, to our health, and the cost of not being well, of being disabled for any period of time, especially if you are an income earner. And even if you're not, even if it's a homemaker, a stay-at-home parent, are so great because it disrupts the family life. And there's a financial cost to that. That
You
can
know-
be in the thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I think financial planning is a very popular since that you just mentioned 20 years ago. Especially now, the current month is a recession, periods happens is disaster.
That's
happening
right.
The whole world. So, do you face any challenges? Like, do you feel is a great difference before and after?
I think there is, and actually I think it's for the positive because the fact that it's a challenging time in the financial markets and in the economy, is leading people to question more the quality of advice that they're receiving. So before, even bad advice could be covered up, or bad advice didn't matter as much because the markets were always rising. So everybody was making money. In recession, it's a lot more challenging to protect wealth and to grow it.
Yeah.
So you really have to focus on quality of advice you're receiving from the financial industry. The other thing is, as far as at least Investors Group goes, so if you're looking at success of how companies are doing, how financial services companies are doing in the current environment, Investors Group has been successful on two criteria, which are important to me as well as a consumer. The first one is the rate of client retention, which basically means, are you as a company losing clients? They're
Yes.
going elsewhere, or are you gaining clients?
Oh, this is.
And Investors Group has been gaining clients throughout this last period of crisis.
Oh, really?
Yes, and a
That's
lot of it
interesting,
through
eh?
referral from other satisfied clients.
Okay.
And the other criteria, which we have been successful on, is called the redemption rate, which refers to the rate at which people are withdrawing money from the market, from their investments. And our rate is less than half. So people who are clients of Investors Group have withdrawn at less than half the rate, their investment portfolio, than other financial services companies, the largest ones in Canada.
Wow.
So we have actually been very successful in managing through this challenging period.
There's a new trend for you, right?
That's right. So it's actually really good, and I welcome that this opportunity that the market has presented, because people are more open to new ideas and receiving a second opinion and willing to make changes.
Yeah.
Because they see the value of making those changes.
So the attitude is very important.
That's right.
Be
Exactly.
positive.
That's right.
If everybody stay home, just they didn't do anything, then maybe the market will be freezing. Right? But anyway, if we focus on our ESP, I heard that if the individual, if it's benefit for the university, right? But if that one failed in high school, he withdrawn, not going further. So can he get any benefit from the RESP training?
Not too much, not really. In fact, there are a few things that happen, and this is where there's a difference. There are two types of RESP plans. One is called a family plan.
Okay.
And the other one is an individual plan set up for each child.
Okay.
So I'll talk about the individual plan, and this is one of the drawbacks. In the case of the individual plan, if the child doesn't go to university or further education or drops out, then the grant money, the Canada Savings Grant, that the $500 per year, the maximum for lifetime is $7,200 that the government will give in that grant. That money has to go back to the government.
Oh,
has to be repaid back.
It's fair, right?
Right.
Because it's kind of
it was an education grant. Yes. And then the principal that the parents contributed into the plan returns back to the parent. Now, any income or growth in the investment that happened, it was all tax sheltered, right? Tax deferred inside the plan. Well, the parent now has to pay tax on that growth.
So it's not to benefit for the parent as well.
No, it's not.
So
and
what's the best way for dealing with this
so
situation?
One of the strategies is to, if you've got more than one child, is to look at a family plan, which basically means that if one child decides not to go further in education, then you can use the same funds in this family plan for the other child or other children.
But mostly, for my understanding, every child, when they were baby, they already, register for one plan.
Yes, that's right.
So
if part of the planning is that you plan to have more than one child, I mean, either way, set it up as a family plan. You can have it just one child in there when the first child is born, but set it up as a family plan and then add other children to it.
Is it a restriction for expenses? For instance, is it limited to the school fees or the test materials? Other than that, how can individual use up the money?
That's right. It has to be directly related to education. So there are some guidelines on that. It's to make sure that parents aren't putting money into this program just for tax deferral for themselves. It truly is for the child's education.
Can the individual take any kind of leisure courses, such as music or muscle art, whatever?
That's right.
Instead of the further study, academic.
That's
program.
right. It doesn't have to be academic. It just needs to be further education in a field.
Okay.
So even vocational programs like carpentry or any sort of construction trades, those would qualify as well.
So is it accident happen any time? For instance, the one have an accident, it disappear, like death, right? Or even pass to the second one.
Yes.
The second one, maybe it's way too long. Can you have a limited of time using up this amount of budget?
Usually it just refers to the fact that the length of their university career or education career, it has to be used up in that. And even when it comes time for withdrawing money to use for their education, there are strategies to reduce the amount that they have to pay in taxes in the child's hands.
Okay.
So it all requires, again, planning, even when they start using the money.
So other than the siblings, can the parent use up the budget, like the benefit money?
Yes.
Oh, the parent.
If the parent is planning to go back to university,
Mm-hmm.
again, that's the definition of the family plan.
Oh, that's
You should
good.
be able to use it.
That's more meaningful than just a ways up, right?
Right.
Okay. For your further development, like especially this recession time. So, what's the next plan for the, I mean, supporting the new generation?
In terms of programs or strategies,
Yes.
and based on, see, the recession, recessions are going to keep happening.
Mm-hmm.
They happen on a regular basis. So the idea is really to build an investment strategy that can shelter, that can really withstand the shock from any sort of recessionary times that go through. And for that, there are a few strategies. One of them is dollar cost averaging, which basically means you don't put a whole lump sum money in the market at any given time. You stagger it. So on a regular basis, be contributing in over a long period of time. What that does is you capture the market as it's going down, and you capture the market as it recovers. And for that, now is a great time for this strategy because the markets are down significantly. So anybody who's starting to contribute into any sort of investment strategy, investment plan, whether it's RESPs, tax-free savings account, or other non-registered, this is a great time to be using that strategy so that even if the markets drop further, they can still take advantage of the lower prices. And then when the market recovers, they start gaining that back in their portfolio as well. So what that does is it evens out the ups and downs.
So your job as a financial planner for instance, for that family,
Yes.
is you have a committed to them. You have keep an eye on the report daily. Is it right?
That's right. I do. I do
Oh.
monitor my clients' financial plans very regularly, and I actually meet with my clients on a regular basis, face-to-face meetings,
Okay.
and then phone calls. And then I also send them a newsletter on a quarterly basis. And of course, they get their statements, their regular statements. And then actually, Investors Group as a company, we do a lot of different events where we have educational seminars. So we invite our clients out to them to learn more about topics like estate planning, for instance. How do you plan for the cottage or the vacation property? Because there's tax consequences. So those kinds of seminars. And then we also do client appreciation events to thank our clients for their support.
So a dinner?
That's right. We do all sorts of fun things.
Good. I heard that your company received a kind of appreciation check or a kind of sponsorship from the ACCE this current week, last week.
Actually, no, that was the ACCE is a strong supporter of the financial services industry. But the support that we received, that I received from ACCE, was actually relating to my nonprofit efforts.
Community support.
That's right, for a charity that I volunteer with.
You know, your contribution and professionals really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
Because I for the very important impression, I said, oh, financial, economic, to commercial. But now you guys are not only financial or economic, still you aware of the charity, you supported the community as well.
That's right.
So,
community, the whole idea and the value that Investors Group, and this is what really impressed me, and which is why I'm so proud to be part of that family, is because the emphasis is on community base.
So do you I hope you don't mind, do you have the budgeting for kind of community support budget?
Yes.
Because last week I have an interview a group of the new generation that are university students.
Yes.
They really kind of approach us, see if any resources for supporting them to have any projects.
We should talk because actually Investors Group sponsors all sorts of events. In the summer, for instance, we have golf tournaments where the proceeds go towards a lot of different charities that support kids.
Yeah.
And then also the rest of the year, there's always there's spring shows, gardening shows, where we again there's always a named charity, where the proceeds from that day go to the charity, and Investors Group is a sponsor for these events.
Good. So at National, maybe, they have a project like they have a kind of student exchange program.
Okay.
For visiting China.
Oh.
I think there's a very good, very meaningful target. Right? They can achieve them, then they can have enrich their experiences.
Sure, you should give me the details. Maybe there's something
so
we can.
I will.
Yeah.
So today we have wonderful experience because even myself I learned a lot from you.
Wonderful. That's great.
Because I think everyone, especially for the new generation, especially for the new parents, they have to know how to manage their budget.
That's right. And I mean, anybody who's looking for more information, as far as the Greater Toronto area goes, my name is Jan Gupta. So they can always call me and I can give you my number.
Sure.
And or if they're outside of the Greater Toronto area, they can actually go to the Investors Group website, which is investorsgroup.com, and they can locate the office that's closest to them.
Yeah, I think we have a leadership training kind of organization. I think you're one of the best resource person for sharing your professionalism.
Great, thank you.
for the new generation, because it is a wonderful career.
It is.
Right?
It is. It's truly rewarding.
Yeah. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we are very honored and it's our privilege to have Jane here for sharing the details about the investment and about the field. So I hope next time we would like to share more details about how to support the new generation for the target. Okay?
Wonderful.
Thank you very much, Jen.
Thank you, Carol.
Look forward to seeing you again.
Take care.